the local one. Wherever there is a temple like that.
Yeah. Let's start it. Today even people will be less. This is
Yeah, it's not chairs are regular.
No, I know. Typically, when you have a break for 2-3 weeks, the first week will go. Okay, so we can. Let's start. We'll change the battery.
The battery.
Yep. You will come over here, so there was no chance. If it is cold, please increase the temperature because I don't know what exactly is the right temperature. Maybe one can increase a little bit. Then, if it is too hot,
We can reduce.
Yeah, I don't know what is actually right.
So we had kept it at around 82 and that brought it up to like 70. It takes a long time to bring it up. It's like 20 degrees variation almost. I mean, this is, by the time it gets to 72, like,
By the time we finish off.
yeah, true.
It's a brand new AC.
No, it's not the AC, I think it's just a,
It's a thermostat.
Thermostat. The problem is with the thermostat.
yeah.
Okay, so we can get started. So we covered up to verse 44. Today we will cover 45, 46, and 47, and that will complete the chapter 1. And then we will do a quick recap of the entire chapter 1. So that's what. And next week, what we'll do is we'll take and if you really look at chapter 1, there are at least 10 or 12 practices we need to do, but at least a few practices we can start, right? 1 or 2 exercises, especially to develop that self-awareness. If we can have 1 or 2 practices, I'll have Gina also come in. She will give a couple of practices, couple of meditation techniques which we can practice. And we'll tell why that particular technique is being practiced. And then we can go to chapter 2. This is the goal. So we will see the recap at the end. But where we were was, when you do story-wise, Dhritarashtra asked this question. Sanjaya started describing the Mahabharata battle. In the Mahabharata battle, he saw the array or the arrangements of both the armies, and we got a description of who are all the key people in Pandavas, who are all the key people in the Kaurava side, and also Duryodhana's strategy, because he said that as long as Bhishma is alive, we are safe. So protect Bhishma is my strategy. Hearing that, Bhishma started blowing his conch, and technically that started the war. And accordingly, the Pandavas also started blowing their conch. And at that time, we saw Krishna and Arjuna was introduced in a beautiful way. The narrative was brilliant. Like, remember, horses, and then a chariot, and then Krishna, followed by Arjuna. It's like a modern cinematography, how it is introduced. And then we saw Arjuna is ready to fight. He lifted his bow. He had no doubt he was about to fight. At that time, he had a brilliant idea. He asked Krishna, I wanted to see who are all with whom I need to fight. So Krishna put his chariot in the middle of the 2 armies and exactly in front of Bhishma and the Drona and all those people with whom he has attachment. So seeing them, what happened? Some emotional overwhelming happened in Arjuna. It happens to all of us. Typically when we face a situation, the situational pressure will start building on top of us. You have a good understanding of the interview, but when you are really in need of that job, pressure will build. You can write any exam, but when you are exactly on that exam where you need to score, pressure will start building. So exactly when Arjuna, who is a wonderful warrior, who had fought with all these people multiple times, is a master of the archery, He had contemplated upon the need of the war for 12 plus 1, 13 months. He was determined, but when he was put in front of the challenge, what happened? Emotional overwhelming started. And when that emotional overwhelming started, what happens? He cannot see things in a clear way. When the mind is disturbed, whatever decision we make, that may not be correct. I quoted Othello's story also at that time, right? So Shakespeare has highlighted this multiple times. Every world literature has highlighted this multiple times. And in the modern world, all the psychology, right from Freud to the positive psychology, everybody highlights the fact that when your mind is not in a stable state, you cannot perform, you cannot see things properly, you cannot feel things properly, you cannot think properly, you cannot act properly. That's why when a teenager is upset, when you try to convince him with logic, is that going to work? Some of you have teenagers, some of you are already means about to get teenagers. So you will see when you talk to a teenagers how they respond. So at that time, if you logic A, B, C, therefore D, it won't work. That's true here. That is true at the time of Arjuna, and that is true now, and that will be true even after 100 years. So, this situation, Arjuna started giving a lot of arguments. For what? Don't look at the war. His argument was give me one reason for getting out of this situation. When we face a challenge in our life, we all look at for that one reason, right? How can I get out of this? Or doing what needs to be done, I fail to do what needs to be done, or I cannot do what needs to be done, and I'll give 15 explanations. I could not do this exercise. The doctor warned. So when I went to India, I met one person. He has liver cirrhosis. Means liver cirrhosis can come in multiple ways. One of the common cause of liver cirrhosis is alcohol consumption. Alcohol consumption is one reason. So this guy is a drunkard. Means in India, you know, right? Some people are 24/7 they drink. So he was admitted in the hospital, and finally the doctor said, next time when you feel for drinking, put a candle also in your house and come. But he was telling me that I really want to stop this drinking, but I cannot. Whenever I see these drinks, I cannot but drink. And then, if you ask, he was giving good philosophical explanation. When you live like a man. That is what is Arjuna's argument. Arjuna comes up with a lot of seemingly good explanations. And all these arguments are valid. Don't try to kill Arjuna's argument. Arjuna's arguments are valid, but out of context. Say India-Pak war is happening. A soldier suddenly thinks that, okay, what is going to happen to that soldier's family if I kill him? After all, he is doing only his duty. What happens? He will be court-martialed. So, depending upon the context of life, there is a war happening everywhere. War doesn't mean that it is physical war always. Challenges with your teenager is also a war. Challenges with your spouse is also a war. Challenges with your own health is also a war. Everything is a war. So here Arjuna started giving explanation. He gave a lot of explanation, brilliant explanation. Last week we saw, right? What happens? When a psychological war happens or when a physical war happens, here it is a civil war. What is the problem of a civil war? The best lot in the country will be wiped off. The best resources of the country will be wiped off. So when, let's say that a Bhishma and a Karna and a Drona is no more there, who would be the commander-in-chief? Some incompetent fellow. When such incompetent people take up a role which is not good for them, what is going to happen? The quality of the society will be deteriorating. When the quality of the society will be deteriorating, right? There are no good doctors. So any average doctor take up the role of a bigger doctor, what is going to happen? Chaos. When the good teachers are not there, the schools are run by incompetent teachers. What can we do? Every walk of life, when the competency is means that is the after effect of a civil war. So he said that is going to bring a big chaos in the society. So let's not do it. On the psychological perspective, we saw last week what the makeup of myself. See, Arnab ji, you like to go for some movies or you like to go for some junk food. You think that that is what makes Arnab. If I change all that thing, it is no more Arnab. So psychologically, Arjuna says that, yeah, I have a lot of good qualities, but along that there are some weakness. But that weakness makes me myself. And if I try to control that, he becomes, means they say that, okay, the fellow has become a sannyasi. That is also a problem. So psychology means this was the two aspects we saw. And now today, 45, 46 and 47, you will see the concluding arguments of Arjuna and an emotional breakdown. That is what we'll see. Okay? So it's a fairly long introduction, but that's fine.
So Rajesh, there's also the category of people who, who are not defending, argumentatively their weaknesses, but their weakness controls them.
Correct.
So like if you're an alcoholic and you know alcohol is bad for you, but you're not able to give it up.
All that is being addressed by Gita. So some people are vocal on this, some people are silently surrendered, some people we'll see later. Multiple type of people. Some people, they know that I'm doing wrong, so they will find a convenient excuse to do that. Some people, when the situation comes, they will just surrender to that. Third category of the people, they don't know even what they are doing is wrong. Right? To those people, Jesus prayed, right? Oh Lord, they don't know what they are doing. Please forgive them. That's it. So, these different evolutions are going to come. But Gita is addressed to those for multiple purpose. One is what? Give you the dharma. What is dharma? Dharma is not religion. Dharma is understanding what needs to be done in a given context. We talked about Mukhya Dharma and Gauna Dharma. I'll talk about that a little bit more because sometimes this Dharma itself is contradicting. Correct? For my body, there is a Dharma. I have to do 2-hour exercise. But today, what happened? I have somebody is in the hospital. I'll take my own example. So, would I give preference to my body Dharma or would I give preference to that hospital? So when two dharmas contradicts, what exactly is the dharma you need to follow? When the Mukhya Dharma and the Gauna Dharma contradicts, you have to pick one. Mukhya Dharma. And that is what is demonstrated through Rama. So when you have to pick between the country and your family, whom do you want to pick? That is why Valmiki demonstrated that through Rama. Rama is being criticized heavily for that, without understanding what exactly it is. So let's say that I'm a teacher. Within the class, if my child is there, I have two dharma. One is the teacher dharma, and the other one is the parent dharma. Outside the class, what would be the predominant dharma? Parent dharma. But in the class, his score means he is not writing good, but I gave maximum internal mark to him. Is that fair? So that is why when the Mukhya Dharma contradicts with Gauna Dharma, rejects the Gauna Dharma and pick up the Mukhya Dharma. This is an important lesson in the Dharma. Because don't think that Dharma is black and white. That is why this Mukhya Dharma and Gauna Dharma is there. So this understanding, in a given context, what is your Dharma? Remember, I said like in our literature, there is a tradition always. The first word of the first sloka combined with the last word of the last sloka together should give the theme of the book. So Bhagavad Gita, first verse is what? Dharma. Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. And the last verse of the 18th chapter, Mama. So if you add that, Dharma plus Mama, my Dharma. Brilliant, right? Look at these sutras, how these things are embedded in the scriptures. It is so good. Vyasa, that is why Namostude Vyasa Vishala Bhute, one who has the magnificent, sharpest intellect. So Vyasa is like that. So I was reading a book. Every language has such book. I was reading a Muruka book in Tamil. I forgot the author's name. Oh my God, you should see the logic. 3,000 years written. Means I'll bring it here because you all should listen to that couple of verses on Lord Muruga. Who is Muruga? And how that these ancient literatures has to be pulled out and studied properly. Those who really love the language, this is what they should do. Tamil, I think 1/10 of the literature is not properly explored.
Yeah.
So much powerful. I'm sure. And I don't know about Bengali and other
The
languages.
same thing with Kannada.
Yeah, Kannada, is it?
So
Yeah.
very, there are a lot of bhashyas that
Yeah.
that are not
Nobody,
interpreted.
yeah.
Nobody has even picked up the books.
Yeah, it's so sad. We'll try to pull a few of such things. So let's try to see. So Bhagavad Gita gives you the dharma. Giving a lecture on dharma is very easy. Then Gita will give you a lifestyle change program. I want to use that word very carefully. You will be told what is to be done. And second thing is what? You will be given a lifestyle change program so that you can practice. Otherwise, I know that eating good food is good, exercise is good, but I cannot do it. What is the benefit of that? Okay, so let's see the final arguments.
कर्तुं यमसितावयम् यत्राज्यसुखलोभेन हरितुं स्वजनमुद्यताः यदि मामप्रतीकारम् अशस्त्रं शस्त्रपाणयः धार्तराष्ट्रारणे हन्युः तन्मे क्षेमकरं भवेत्.
Continuing the same argument. Who is arguing here? What is the mental state of that Arjuna? Emotionally overwhelmed. Imagine you are in that state, emotionally overwhelmed. You cannot see things properly. You cannot think properly. You cannot feel properly. You are under that emotion. And I'm arguing. He said, but being Arjuna, he put good arguments. That is the only difference. Some people, they give ridiculous argument. In our Nyaya, they say, if somebody gives ridiculous argument, you go and give good argument. Is that going to work? Suppose I say that, okay, they call Vidandam, such a type of arguments, right? So, suppose I say that today is Monday, therefore a horse should stand outside. This is the example they have used. How do you defend logically with such people?
You can't.
You can say that. So, Bertrand Russell, he is an agnostic, non-agnostic. So somebody said, God told me in the dream yesterday that you have to confess to this particular person, then only you will go to heaven. Another person came and said, no. I got a dream that not person A, you have to follow person B. If you follow person A, you are not going to end up in heaven, but you will end up in hell. But if you follow person B exclusively, then you will be in heaven. But he said what? I also got a dream. God told me that I don't come in dreams. This is the argument you use. For such people, what else you can do? So here, but Arjuna's argument is not like that. It's all meaningful arguments. Oh, see, he said, Aho and Bata. What is that? This is exclamatory remarks indicating something terrible. You say in Malayalam, you say Ayyo. Tamil, you'll say something like that, right?
Same
Every language has something.
Ayyo only.
What do you call in Bengali? Like You don't know?
I'm not sure we have anything.
Oh,
I think in Hindi it would be high.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
what do you want?
High, right? High SOS.
something you're terrible, you're saying, oh, bad, okay, this is too bad. Aho bata. Both words are indicating exclamatory remarks, same than something terrible. Aho bata mahat papam. Papam, sin. Sin means what? Not the original sin. This is slightly different. Original sin means you have no control, right? Somebody did in the past and you are inheriting that. So they're not talking about that. Here, sin means the results of my wrongdoing. Let's put like that. Because the word sin is always confusing. The result I'm going to get because of my wrongdoing. Kartum vyavasita vayam. We are ready to commit a great sin here. Arjuna tells. We are about to commit a big sin. What is that sin? Killing. Okay, what is that? Why we are doing that great sin, right? Aho mata bhagavata aho bata mahat pavam kartum vyavasita vayam yat rajya sukha lobhena. Why am I doing this great sin? Yat rajya sukha lobhena. Lobha means greed. Because of my greed for the country, rajya, and pleasure. I want a better life because when I'm a ruler, naturally my lifestyle will be better. So, because of my attachment or my greed for a better life, I was about to commit a big sin. And what is that big sin? Hantum swajana bhagava. My own people I'm about to kill. So that is what the argument is. He said, alas, or we are ready to commit a great sin because of the greed for the desire for the kingdom and wealth and pleasure. This is the conclusion. And then he said, Yadi mamam pratikaram ashastram shastrapanaya dhartarashtrasya rane hantu. Okay, so he tells, so I was about to commit a big sin. Glad that I just realized. So it would be better if the Dhritarashtra's children kills me right now. Rather than me killing them, I'm going to surrender. So it would be better if the Dhritarashtra's children are going to kill me, who is unarmed right now. The reason is what? Otherwise, I'll be committing a sin. So, tendency to surrender and retreat. So this example seems to be a terrible example, but this is what is happening every time.
Even in real life, when when the parents are against the children, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Parents say, "Oh, well, okay, I'm willing to give away my property to somebody, or my own kith or kin. Let's not fight," kind of a scenario. This is
Every scenario, even take every situation where you have an internal conflict. Okay. So I told you one example, right? Somebody was telling me that example, right? That's why. So do you have a target of studying, getting a certification this year? So you look at that, right? If that is the case, you have to spend 3 hours every day night. But what is that? What is that I like to do? Watch a movie, or go to a party, or go somewhere. So when you watch all these things, I would conclude what? If I compromise all these things, what is going to happen? I'm trying to kill my own wishes. I'm trying to kill my own wishes. What is that wish? I want to go to this party. I want to go to this place. I wanted to do this, that, etc. So why? For a career advancement, my attachment for a career advancement forces me to kill my own legs. After all, why am I living? Right? Somebody gave me a good excuse. One rich guy was taking his vacation on a beach. So he went for a morning walk. Right? So he saw a fish. Means one guy, just lazy guy sitting there. So this rich guy, entrepreneur, asked this lazy guy, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm a fisherman." "Then why you are not going for fishing?" He said, "I had my catch." "What do you mean?" He said, "Like, I got a couple of fishes and that is good enough for me." Then this guy started advising, if you catch more fish, you will save more money. The other guy asked why. He said, "Okay, you can buy a boat." "What am I going to do with that boat?" He said, "You can earn more money. And if you earn more money, you can start a business. And if you start a business, what you can do? You can employ more people, you'll have a lot of money. And then what do? He said, "Like me, come here and take fishes." And the other fellow said, "What else am I doing right now?" Now, that's not a good model. What I'm saying is that you can always come up with arguments, examples. So, like that, every time we have a conflict, and every time we compromise on that conflict, this is what is happening. This Arjuna state is happening in our mind.
Oh, yes.
Every situation, don't think that it was happened in that war only, right? When I compromise on eating, see, you have a goal, you prioritize that. Why am I taking the certification? It is not to suffer tomorrow. Gita, later point of time, Krishna tells, right? Be ready for the change always. This is a very powerful advice. Be ready for a change before the change is imposed on you. Right now, you all have a job. How many of you have looked at your resume? If you are employed for 15 years, your resume will be 15 years old, I can tell you, most of the people. Not everybody, but most of the people. And suppose a layoff is imposed on them, it will be an emotional breakdown. But if you follow that Krishna's advice, right, consider that every year these things can happen. Something can happen to my health, something can happen to my wealth, something can happen to everybody. I was also telling the same story, right? So my mother-in-law, like 3 months back, she didn't have any problem. Like in a span of 3 months, she just passed away. So if you don't do, right, means I'm taking an example, right? Now you had a desire to go to, say, Switzerland, or you had a desire to go to Kedarnath. Do it appropriate time, because tomorrow is not predictable for anybody. So Krishna's advice, be ready for the change when the change imposed on you. So whatever you want to do, lead a good life. You cannot postpone your happiness and your thing tomorrow. I'll bring that verse when we go to the later chapter. But this is one of the greatest advice I have ever found useful. When know that change is inevitable. You cannot do anything. Your body itself is going to change. People are going to change. You cannot expect that I was like that yesterday, so you cannot expect that he's always going to be like that. Before marriage, she was so nice to me. After marriage, gradually drops, right? So the changes are always going to happen. But make your mind or make your skills. Suppose you need to do something. You treat your body like as if you are in 20s. Now, it's very natural. If both of your parents had, or at least one of your parents had high hypertension, only a matter of time you are going to get it. So what you can do? Exercise and postpone it as much as possible, and when you get it, accept it gracefully, take medication. It's not the end of the world. So that type of a change has to be developed inside you. That's what it is very important, these verses. So now Arjuna's excuses, or the self-control excuses. Even though the job of the self-control is to control, monitor and control all these emotions. When the situation happens, self-control will come up with a lot of excuses. And some of the excuses, these are all psychological lessons. Psychology tells this. What is that? What is the guarantee that if I cut down all the sugar consumption, all the junk food consumption, right? All these movies, all these sensual pleasures, what is the guarantee that I'm going to enjoy that life? Shift Arjuna to this, you will get it. So one book I suggested to you was Learn Optimism. Learn Optimism. It's a fantastic book. Read it. You will hear all these things in a different language. This is by Martin Seligman. Martin Seligman. It's very, very, very popular book. Learn Optimism. And there is another book called Authentic Habits. These two books talks almost similar subject. And then Arjuna or the self-control is saying that I know that at least I go to a buffet or sleeps 24/7 or enjoying, means having a couple of drinks or whatnot. I'm limiting myself to this, okay? There could be better example. So that's what makes myself. If I give it up, my personality is lost. And I won't be enjoying the life. The other day, somebody gave me a wonderful argument for not doing the exercise. You want to listen? This is a very good argument. He put a mathematical calculation. He said, okay, every day I'm running 1 hour. For the next 20 years, I'm going to run. So 365 hours per year. 20 times 365. How much? Approximately 750. 750. 365 hours. Whatever it is. Yeah, whatever it is. So let's assume that this is going to increase my life to 5 years. Let's say that. What is that 5 years I will be doing? I'll be running. Do you want me to do that? Rather, I would sleep, I would enjoy, I would drink, and I would go peacefully. These are the arguments, Arjuna's type of arguments. But he didn't understand, right? 6th chapter we will see. It is not that 1 hour. It is going to rebuild your entire system. Even for doing the other activities, this 1 hour is going to help. We'll see that.
Quality of life.
Exactly. Quality of life is going to increase. But apparently this is a good argument.
But the good thing is, I'm looking at it from a Krishna state of mind. That he has a huge challenge on hand to turn around this guy and make him fight the war.
Yeah. No, that's the beauty of Krishna. And Krishna is there everywhere, right? So, Krishna means we'll see in the 4th chapter, Krishna will see. When you are sincere, I'll come to you. It could be in the form of a small inspirational statement you see. It could be in a small form of a radio talk you listen to. It could be an act of a child in front of you. But don't look for Krishna with this flute and blue color, then you'll miss it. And I told you one story of Tolstoy, right? So how Jesus comes to a human being, that is exactly what it is. So then he tells it would be foolish for me to give up my current state, thinking that a future state is going to come. What is going to hold? Whatever I have is lost, and I didn't reach that stage. So, and then he tells, I would be constantly worrying on what happened in the past. I know one drunkard. He said, oh my God, it was a good. That's why this suppression is not something that the scriptures don't advocate. If you suppress, what is going to happen? It will burst forth sometime. And now psychology comes back and supports us. So,
Sorry, Rajesh.
Yeah.
One question, right? If someone is an addict needs to suppress
correct.
his addiction.
Yes. But that is a method, right? So if you blindly suppress everything, it is going to create a problem with point of time. So addiction means, see, there are two types of people who has to go through these type of teaching. One is normally abnormal people. The second one is abnormally abnormal people. Abnormally abnormal people, what Patanjali tells? They need aushadha, medication first. They have to go through a prescribed treatment. And once they come to this level, where they can think, then only the scriptures will work. So we are talking about normally abnormal people. Abnormally abnormal people need special care. So the scriptures are not a solution for everybody. If somebody is mentally retarded, he needs treatment. See, when you try to fit scripture is the solution for everything in the world, that is the time scripture fails. Everything has appropriate slots. So that's what it is. So now this is the problem. So Arjuna surrenders. So what is the problem here? If you surrender to temptation blindly, what is going to happen? That becomes a habit. Nobody has born as a drunkard. But the local people in India, how much they are addicted on drinking, I know. Somebody spoils their life. These laborers and all, some of the laborers, they work and get say 1,000 rupees per day. When he reaches home, practically there is nothing. The children are starving. It's not that he don't make money and they're starving. This is the problem. Every addiction is a problem. So this is one thing, is one of the psychological tricks here is that evil will present itself under the guise of good. This is very important. I'm quoting Shankaracharya's one of the commentary. Brilliant. Evil will dress up like so good, but you will not even realize. By the time you realize, it will be too late. See, the drinking would be an escape route sometimes initially. I have a psychological issue. Who don't have psychological issue? Somebody tells me that, okay, somebody was telling me that there's a fight in the family. I was telling him that even if you go to Vaikuntha or Kailasha, there will be Shiva and Parvati will be fighting. Nowhere, as long as there is a man and woman, don't expect that life. You have a wrong baseline. Your expectation is that these two are two different individuals. So there will be fight. There will be problems. And there will be disease. And sometimes there will be unfortunate departure also. That cannot be avoided. So how do you handle these things? This is very important. And Patanjali in the 3rd chapter of the Yoga Sutra tells some people get into escape routes like this, which is not an escape route at all. It is going to be a problem. So Arjuna gives this argument. And finally, we will see the final verse. So before the final verse, in psychology, what they say is there are 3 different states of your mind. One is the relaxed stage. Right now, all of you are relaxed. You can think properly. Nothing is bothering you. You may have problem, but right now you are not thinking about the problem. So in a relaxed state. But when you are in front of a problem, what is going to happen? The stress will build up. When the stress increases, your ability to fight with the problem also increases initially. Correct? Because that is the whole definition of stress. So if there is a fire alarm, I have to get out of the building. So adrenaline and cortisol will come to my blood. Naturally, it will increase my ability to run. Blood flow will go, blood pressure will go up, sugar will go, so that I can have more glucose, and all these immunities will be cut down. I'll be ready to fight or flight or even a freeze. This is the definition of stress. So the stress increases, your efficiency increases. So if you plot that as a graph, that graph will go up to a certain stage. And that stage is that level of stress you get maximum performance. And this is called flow. This is the definition of flow, or this is the break-even state. And little bit of increase of stress, what is going to happen? Performance deteriorates. Go down, 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 down. And finally, it hits a breakdown state. So at certain point of time, what is going to happen? You are completely broken down. So your ability to control your mental activity should be in such a way that it won't cross the flow. And here, what is going to happen to Arjuna? He got into that breakdown state. It is called Mudha state, or means it started with the Vikshipta and it went up to Mudha. Is broken down completely. In a psychological breakdown, you will see that. You can see that in modern depression. If you go to a psychology book and read that the signs of the symptoms of the depression at the extreme end state, what is going to happen? You cannot move up, you will be completely down. That is the state Arjuna which is reached. A complete emotional breakdown is described. So let's see.
सञ्जयमुवाच एवमुक्त्वार्जुनः सङ्ख्ये रथोपस्थमुपाविशत् विसृज्य सशरं चापं शोकसंविघ्नमानसः.
Brilliant. So I told you, drama was not a branch in early Sanskrit. It came later with Kalidasa. But if you read Kalidasa, modern writers are nothing. So, oh my God, I was reading a couple of the Kumara Sambhavam. Again, I was reading more on Lord Muruga. That's why I came to that book also. Kumara Sambhavam is brilliant, especially the similes he has used. Nobody can even match that. Amazing literary work. So, but here in Gita, you can see the dramatic element. See, up until now, Arjuna was speaking. He said, what? I'm about to commit a big mistake. Look at the modern cinematography or the directorial role. Now, the scene is shifted to Sanjay. Because Arjuna is broken down. So he cannot speak. Somebody has to give that narration. Look at the beauty of the literature. Means that's not my goal. We are not going to talk about the merit of the literature here, but we cannot but highlight this. So Sanjaya giving us the commentary now. He tells, Eva Muktva Arjuna Sankhe. Arjuna Sankhe means in the war field. So in the war field, having said this much, Rathopastam Upavishata. He's just sat down. He was standing in the chariot about to fight. Now he cannot stay up. He could not stand up. He collapsed. And Visurja Charam Chapa. Visurja means what? Given up. Visurja means that much okay. Giving up. Visurja Charam Chapa. Charam means his arrow. Chapa means his bow. Instruments of actions were given up. And what was his mental state? Shoka Samvighna Manasa. Emotionally broken down mental state. With that mental state, he just sat down. He could not do anything. Helpless state. I'm sure all of you might have experienced this one form or the other, at least a little bit. You could not even stand up, you don't giving up, you don't think of, you cannot think anything. That's a complete emotional breakdown. So the reason why Vyasa is giving is that such an individual needs to be cognitively transformed, not by putting your hand on your head. That's what literally religion typically tells you, right? God, what he does, he just get up. The fellow will get up and ready to fight. Krishna don't do anything miracles, no miracles here. It's only a psychological treatment. So what exactly is that? That's what we are going to show. That's why the whole chapter showed a step-by-step breakdown of an individual when facing a tough situation in the life. So let's see. Sorry. So the state of the human mind. The first chapter is the true state of a typical human mind. So my only request is, this is not Arjuna's mind, this is my mind. If you consider this as an Arjuna's mind, remember, like that Dr. Watson, you will see the sky, you will see the plants, you will see everybody, but you won't realize that the tent is gone. So that's very important. And then the world we experience may not be necessarily the world. See, in this, when I break down, what I see may not be necessarily the truth. That is the first lesson we need to see. When I feel extremely pain, right, I am seeing something which generates that pain, that is guaranteed. You cannot say that that is not true. And we will see this in our Vedanta class, next lesson, couple of lessons. This is called Pratibhasika Satya. You are seeing something which generates this type of reaction, that is for sure. The only question is that, are you seeing correctly? Remember the example of that snake?
Yeah, exactly.
If you see that snake, it demands fear, it demands pain, it demands anxiety. But imagine if there is no snake. So, are you seeing things properly? The world we experience merely is the interpretation of our mind. And if that mind is not in a proper state, how do you think that that interpretation is going to be correct? So, trust your interpretation only when you are in control. So that's why when you are in an agitated state, what you feel may not be the right thing. What you think may not be the right thing. In modern management lesson, what is the lesson they give for the email? When you are so angry, when you write the email, what do they say? Just save it in the draft folder. All of you might have got that training. Why? In that mindset, you are not seeing things properly. And you are writing based on what you see at that point of time, which may not be correct. That's all we are saying here. This is a big psychological lesson. So, this is very important. Our experience of the world depends upon. So, the same world could be experienced by me in 15 different times. Correct? When I'm angry, I'll see a really bad world. When I'm happy, I see a wonderful world. The other day, one fellow was telling me, on Friday evening, he feels that the nature itself changes. Why?
Mindset.
Mindset changes because Friday evening, you know that he's good, free next day. So when he look at the sun changes. When he look at the kid changes. Everybody becomes too nice. Monday morning, exactly opposite. I'm sure. And I don't know whether you go and Google. One of the biggest stressors in this country is Monday morning. Why? Can you believe that? And another biggest fear in the whole world is what? Public speaking. Why? Fear. Why? What the other fellow is going to know? See, one problem is everybody will think that the entire world's attention is on me.
Yeah.
How much I care, right? So, some people are so conscious. Means, when I went on 2017 December for that particular party, I wore this particular strap for the watch. So I have to change it. How many people remember that? So since I have the entire attention on me, I feel that everybody is like that. For them, they are the center of gravity. And this creates a lot of tension. So this is the problem. Okay. So we need to be prepared. Sorry. Okay. So we need to be prepared. So we need to be prepared because now the problem is what? Who is vulnerable for this? Every one of us. Don't laugh and think that Arjuna made all these comments. I would have shown worse reaction. So each one of us are subjected to this problem. That is why this is presented as a universal problem by Gita. So how do we prepare for this? So we need to be prepared because we don't have that freedom to act. See, we always wants to be freedom, right? We always want political freedom. We want economical freedom. But do we have the psychic freedom? If somebody tells some bad words to me, if I have freedom, I can determine whether I should react or not to react. I'm not saying that you should not react, but the freedom should be in my hand. But most of the people, when he say X, you will say Y. You don't have that freedom. So how do I develop that? And when we face the world without preparing and tuning our mind, we may become, underline, a victim of the situation. Isn't it correct? We may become a victim of the situation. Whenever we face the world, it's like you're going to a water resource and try to swim without preparation. You will fall, sink, right? Like that. You're going to interact with the world, you're translating the world without this preparation. What is going to happen? You might become a victim of the situation. This is one of the central thing. Don't become a victim of the situation rather than be a master of the situation. So Gita is that science, or I will not use the science, that body of knowledge which transforms us from being a victim of the situation to a master of the situation. So our mind may come up with 100 possible excuses. Again, I suggested a book, Destructive Emotion. That book has a lot of emotions that can pull us down. So that how do we handle this? That is why the first chapter is very important. Without understanding the first chapter, you cannot understand Gita properly. So that is what it is. And the lessons we will see. But I wanted to do a quick summary. So the first verse was what? It was an instruction by the blind mind to see what is happening in my mind. Typically, when we go through the situation, we don't even understand. I just go and react and fight and come back. What happens? So that is what is the first verse. Then second verse means first verse is Dhritarashtra's instruction to Sanjaya to understand what is happening in the Kurukshetra. Subjectively, it is an instruction by the blind mind to the introspection to see what is happening. Second verse, Duryodhana approaches Drona, remember? And Achari Upasangamya Raja Vajanam Pravit. So here the key thing was beware of habits. Drona is the habit. The third one is enumeration of the Pandava army. Duryodhana tells in Pandava forces there are so many people, each one of is as good as Arjuna and Bhima. So he gives out that information. So our lesson is what? Identify those noble values in our mind. Everyone has that. So these are the practices we are going to give one by one, right? So do I have fearlessness? Do I have fortitude? So certain qualities we are going to see. One easy thing is follow the yama and niyama of Patanjali. Very easy. So how do I find those good qualities? So look for it. Sometimes they're deep hidden. So identify that, cultivate it, nourish it. So that is another set of practice. The entire Gita is going to give you answer. Verses 7 to 9, enumeration of the Kaurava forces. So Duryodhana said, Asmagam tu vishishtaye tan nibodha dijotama nayaka mama sainyasya sandhyathan brahimi. Bhavan Bhishmasya karmasya. You Bhishma, Karna, Drona, Kripa, Ashwatthama. He said, I also have good warriors. So identify the destructive emotions in my mind. So identify the positive emotions and thoughts, identify the negative emotions and thoughts. Then what? What is the war strategy? Protect the ego, the individuality. I. When that comes in, Nobody can, the ego cannot be destroyed unless and otherwise I want it. That is why in Mahabharata, Bhishma is supposed to have Swachhanda Murti. Unless and otherwise Bhishma don't want, nobody can put him down. Even Krishna cannot put him down. That much powerful warrior was Bhishma. So the strategy is to protect our pseudo self or ego. And then what happens? Bhishma blew the conch and the Kaurava forces blew the conch. These are the fears, anxieties comes to my mind when I face a situation. That's we saw. And then we saw the Pandavas blowing the conches. Panchajanyam Rishikesha, Devadattam Dhananjaya, Pauntram Datmau Mahashankar, Bhima Karma Rikoda. We saw that, right? Ananta Vijayam Raja, Kundi Putro Yudhishthira, Nakula Sahadevascha, Sukhosha Manusha. The positive vibrations. Sometimes means this can be developed. I told you, like the automatic thoughts that comes to me at a given situation has to be positive. You can train your mind in such a way that whenever I face a situation, you feel positive. I told you about a book called The Power of Positivity. It is such a wonderful book. This gives, if you are positive, how much it can change your life. These are all psychological things. And then we spend some time on the analogy of the chariot. Remember? What exactly Krishna, Arjuna, 5 horses, and I told you, like some people will say that, how can you have 5 horses in a chariot? 5 horses represents your 5 senses. And I took Katha Upanishad, that Ratha Kalpana portion of the Katha Upanishad. Atmanam Rathinam Vithi, Shariram Ratha Yevata Cha, Utthim Cha Sarasim Vithi, Manapragraha Evacha, Indriyani Hayanyahu, Vishayan, Eshu Gocharam, Atmendriya Mano Yubuthim. That type of verses, we saw around 10 verses. I already published that video. If you want, you can just watch that. That was the Ratha Kalpana. It's extremely important because the symbolism is proper. I'm not making it up. It's coming from Upanishads. So that's why please read that. And then Arjuna's wishes to see the arrows. Arjuna said, Senayor Upayor Madhye Ratham Stapaya Mechita. Remember? Yavadedan Niricheva. Yotukaman Avastika. I want to see. And then once he saw the one, which is 24 to 27, Arjuna see the Kaurava armies. Bhishma Drona Pratugata, Sarve Shantama Ikrita, and Krishna intelligently put only in front of those people whom he had attachment. If he had put him in front of Karna or Shuddhama or some other warriors, this confusion would not have happened. So that's what it is. So, sorry. So then we saw 28 to 31, symptoms of emotional breakdown. Brilliantly explained. Remember? Vepatuscha sharire me, Romaharshascha jayate, Gandivam samsrate harsta, Tok chaiva paridahyate. My skin is burning. My hands are shivering. Mind is completely overwhelmed. And wherever I see, Nimittani cha pashyami vivedidani keshava. Whatever I see bad omens. Oh my God, the superstitions are so much. It's so bad.
Those might be triggering your sixth sense still. It could be.
It could see the nimitta in our culture is different, right? Nimitta is not these superstitions. So nimitta in our culture means like if a tsunami happens, you could see the signs of that tsunami in the nature, like some animal skin. That is what is nimitta. But these people, if a crow make a sound, that's a problem. And if a cat crosses, that's a problem. And I know this right now, like when somebody passes away, they say that, okay, if this day, it's a problem. If that is the day, that is problem. So Monday is a problem, Tuesday is a problem, Wednesday is a problem, Thursday is a problem, Friday is a problem. What do you do? How can you prove it?
Saturday, Sunday, people are all available. So that
and the rituals and you have to draw a line between what is belief and what is superstitions. And Krishna, later chapter, he tells, don't Yamimam Pushpita Vajam Prapatanti Vivaschitaha Veda Vadarada Partha Na Anyadamti Vipadana. It will reject them ruthlessly. These sometimes what? Flowery words of the unwise. That is how he calls it. Flowery words of the unwise. So once you study Gita, please don't get into these type of traps. This is a real curse into our culture. Vivekananda used to say after traveling through the South India, Kerala, he called it as a lunatic asylum. So truly, yeah. And Tamil Nadu, some places, these caste discriminations, he was so upset. He said, like, people are arguing whether to drink water with the right hand or left hand. And there's C.V. Raman's grandfather. Like, C.V. Raman is always somebody who can be proud of, right? 2 generations back, because that Vivekananda's travel had a lot of effect. 2 generations back, they used to have blind arguments. Their intellects were used on this thing, whether to drink water with the left hand or right hand, whether to have 1 gopi or 3 gopi, horizontal or vertical. These were the debates. They used to debate for it. Can you believe? This is the superstitions. So this emotional breakdown, then Arjuna refuses to fight. Self-control refuses to control the destructive emotions. That's what it is. Then Arjuna started giving excuses. He saw that. And then 40 to 44, Arjuna enumerates the calamities of a civil war. Or self-control enumerates the problem with means controlling certain emotions. Okay, this land and this God. Okay, that's fine. So then finally, the verse 44 to 40 to 44, the final verse, a complete breakdown. Earlier it was a symptoms for emotional breakdown. Now finally what happened? This is the chapter. So to that people, to that person, to all of us who faces the risk of that type of scenario, Krishna is going to talk. That is chapter 2. So start chapter 2 from December 1st week. But next week, we'll take some time and we'll practice 2 or 3 takeaways. Some meditation, some techniques. Okay, that's good. Any questions? No questions.
How do we relate Arjuna's state of mental breakdown, some practical scenarios where it happens in today's life?
Yeah, hundreds of scenarios, right? So each one of them, that's what the problem we are going to see next week. So imagine one of the toughest situations you have to do. Imagine your state of mind, what you felt, what was your state of mind. That is Arjuna's state. You may think that your situation is genuine, but how much time it took. It's okay to have that sad state, but how much depression you had, how much anxiety you had, and how long it took. Krishna later gives 3 things. One is the depth of your problem, like how deeply it went into your psyche. Second one is how long you stayed in that mental state. And third one is what? Frequency. How often you get into this state. These are the 3 things we need to identify and control. This is very good, and the second chapter we will see. But one good thing about Bhagavad Gita compared to Upanishads and other scriptures is brilliantly sequenced. Every verse is perfectly sequenced to the next one. Whereas in the Upanishad, you will see one topic here, it goes totally different. Otherwise, it is poets, typical poets, you cannot say that it has to be sequenced. Poetry is always out of inspiration. So that's why. We'll see. That's why when we did the introduction to Vedanta, we tried to sequence it, not do it. We're not taking any way the book is going. So you can watch that videos because that will help you to understand Gita very well. It's there in the hence we published it. So we have around 18 lessons. That 18 lessons will give you a brief understanding of the Vedanta very well. Any other questions?
His state of mind right now is he's collapsed. He's not in a state to listen to anybody.
Yeah.
He's grieving. instead of helping him with the grief or kind of sympathizing with his grief, Krishna is going to start, you know, telling him things what he needs to do or what he does not need to do. Is he even in a state of mind to listen to him?
Yeah, that's what he put a little bit of words on him so that he started listening. So second chapter, verse 1 to 10 is making him to a state to listen. And the actual teaching will start from verse 1. So different approaches can be followed in psychology. Something is to provoke you a little bit. So Krishna tells, this behavior is not suitable for you, right? This is a pathetic behavior. This is neither masculine nor feminine. That's the word he used. Don't say that he is criticizing transgenders. Never. He never criticizes any genders. He's saying that you are not fitting to any of the categories. If you are fitting with one category, that is good. This is you're neither emotional nor intellectual. You're in no man's land. And this is at a critical state. How can you do like this? That provoked Arjuna a little bit. And he said, okay, yes, I'm in a very confused state. So please guide me. Unless that guidance is asked, you cannot give that guidance. And if you give guidance, it won't work. And then actually it's brilliant, right? So the 10th verse, he tells Arjuna, he just say that, Shishyastoham Shamimam Tvam Prapanam. Please guide me, I am your disciple. So then Krishna is introduced to what? Very Vyasa, he said, Tam Uvacha Rishikesha Prahasanniva Bharata. So Krishna started teaching how? As if with a smile. That's the control of the situation, right? So you are a doctor, somebody is in ICU. The doctor, how he comes in there with tense stomach. I've seen this once. That's why the doctor was so tense. He just went into the ICU, but he came back with a smile. What? There's a problem, but I know how to handle it. That's what Krishna said. So each word used by Vyasa has so significant. So he said, Tamuvacha Rishikesha Prahasanniva, as if smiling. It's not laughing, making fun of him, but at the very same time, he is not tensed. So when you see the confidence in the face of the teacher, that itself is a therapy. We'll see that. Okay, so we'll see next week. Thank you. Thank you.